Well, I made a trip up here. Getting ready to go head that other Sudan grass out. But I made a trip up here to look at this field, so I can plan on what I'm going to do here. It's a little taller in here than I thought it was. Up to my armpits right in here. A lot taller than I thought it was in here. But this is kind of an example of why it pays to get stuff in early. You know, this probably be, now this is planted 2 weeks later than that other field, but it would probably be as tall as that other field was. It'd be up to my head by now. Like I say, I'm not going to wait much longer on this. I'm probably going to cut this the first of the week, give it a few more days of growing. But you know, that time of year, we don't have no frost in the forecast anytime soon, but you never know. But yeah, I got some questions on Sudan grass, and it's more like, tests out more like corn silage. It's not like, it would test like corn silage energy-wise and protein-wise. You know, this will probably be 8-9% protein, where like alfalfa, clovers be 15, 16, 20% protein. This just got more sugars in it, more energy to it, so it's more comparable to corn silage. I even did some looking to refresh myself on some of this, and some of the stuff I found was different than what I've ever known about it. But it's a hybrid cross of Sudan grass or sorghum and other various native tropical grasses is what that kept coming up that I was looking at. And this is like corn, where it likes hot, humid weather, moisture. I mean, this grows just like corn would. Now, I've always been told, you know, corn you don't want to plant until ground temperature is 50 degrees. And I was told this stuff 60 degrees. But they're saying you can plant it as soon as May 15th, as soon as there's no risk of frost. That is the one drawback of this stuff. Once it gets frosted, depending what I've been told too, when this gets frosted, it makes, I want to say it's prussic acid. I'm not sure if that's the right one or not. But when it frosts, it does make something that comes out in it, and it'll kill a cow. Now they say if it gets frosted, you wait 3 days, then you can feed it again. I've heard 7 days. If it gets frosted, you can chop it and put it in a silo or wrap it in baleage, and the fermentation process will take care of that acid, and it's not a problem. But over the last several years, it has really changed the popularity of Sudan grass, I think, sorghum Sudan grass. It used to be, when there was farms around, you know, 40, 50 cow dairies, and people actually pastured cows, that the pasture would run out of, you know, you get in the middle of July, hot and humid, grass is not growing, you got no feed out there, and guys would plant, you know, if somebody had 40 cows, they might plant 4 or 5 acres of this. And then they would green chop it to feed cows. And they would start green chopping it. You know, this right here this is about to my waist right in this area. This is when they would start green chopping it. And, you know, it grows right back. Now, like I say, this was planted around July 20th, I think. And today's September 8th. So like I said, I mean, I got 3 foot of growth here in about 6 weeks. So by the time you know, when you're green chopping, you're only cutting a couple passes every day. Well, by the time you got in here cutting this, that out there's half grown back or better more. So you just start green chopping it again, or if it isn't coming back, a lot of guys used to start chopping second crop or something, and they'd green feed it to cows over the summer. And then by the time we got a frost, they're either keeping the cows in the barn at night, or they're starting to chop corn and they'd green feed corn or something. So it's just used for, you know, supplemental feed during the summer, because it is somewhat drought tolerant. But like I say, it likes heat and it likes moisture to really grow. Nowadays, I'm seeing a lot of guys, they're actually baling up and wrapping it for baleage. In fact, last year and this year, I had a hell of a time getting seed. Used to be able to call around, hey, you got any seed? Well, we can have it in a day or two. Now you call them and say, we can't find any. We don't know, can't get any. We can't find it. And so, I mean, it's gotten a lot more popular for that. And then, you know, if you watch Trevor Bales on Bales Hay, he's on Instagram, and he's fairly new YouTube channel too. He's out in Buckeye, Arizona, and that's all he does is grow hay. Alfalfa, Bermuda grass, ryegrasses. You know, he's putting up 400,000 or 500,000 bales of hay, and we're talking the small idiot blocks, but they're big small idiot blocks. You know, around here, our bales are 50, 60 pounds with 2 strings on it. He's baling 90-pound bales with 3 strings. So he's putting up a lot of hay. Well, they use flood irrigation out there, and you know, it's being out in the dry desert areas, there's going to be a lot sandier soils. They plant this, and then, well, like I said, what I mowed yesterday is a lot heavier than this. They'll disc that under to put organic matter into the soil to hold moisture. That's all they grow it for. You can put a lot of organic material in the ground with this stuff. Now, what I looked up this morning, it's saying you planted at 100 to 150 pounds of seed to the acre. And I've never heard that before. This here is roughly 50 pounds to the acre. And, I mean, it's kind of is thin, but it's like everything else. The thicker you plant it, the smaller the stem, the finer the feed. And so I don't think you need to go that high. You don't have to spray this. This grows in so fast and so thick, it smothers everything else out. You can't underseed with it. So if you wanted to put this in and then plant alfalfa with it, it ain't going to work. So, but it makes some good quick feed. I mean, it's got a good sweet smell to it. It's just, like I say, it's comparable to a corn silage, but without the starch. You know, with the corn silage, you have the ear to it with the grain, so you got a starch content, which really improves the corn silage. The main reason to feed that. But this is just mainly sugars. And this end ain't quite as heavy as I thought it was, but yeah, you can get multiple cuttings. Like I say, if I had planted this towards the end of June, I more than likely would have cut it at this stage, you know, about the middle of July, the end of July. And then closer towards the end of the month, I'd probably get another cutting like this. They say 30 to 40 days you can get a 3 to 4 foot growth. That's kind of pushing it. I mean, then maybe if the moisture's there. I've gotten 2 cuttings before. I didn't fertilize after it, and the second cutting wasn't all that great. So like I said, I think it might pay to hit it with fertilizer between cuttings. But like I said, it's all just depends how you want to handle it. They say it grows between 5 and 12 foot tall. Like I said, I don't think you want to let it get that 12 foot. But like I said, it makes good feed. Now, I don't know how much of the difference is here. That field that I mowed yesterday, I actually planted Sudan grass in that last year. And I couldn't get it off because I didn't get it planted until the middle to end of August anyhow, so I didn't get that much growth. It was nice, but it was probably about half of what this is for the most part. And when I wanted to get intercut it, it wouldn't quit raining. Then I was bagging silage for the woman I bagged for. So the bagger wasn't here when we had some decent weather, and by the time I got done over there and got the bagger back home, we got a frost, it started raining, And in 3 days, it was as brown as that right there. And I didn't get nothing out of it. So I put that seed in there, and that last year it was a BMR, a brown mid-ribbed. That's the only thing I could get, which is fine. I kind of wanted to try it. And the brown mid-rib, all it means is the way the genetics are bred into it, like this backbone stem in there, a lot of that's undigestible. And the brown mid-rib is just different genetic to it. It makes a lot of this be more digestible. You can get more out of the feed, and when I planted that last year, I put 200 pounds of triple 16 with it. And like I said, I never got nothing off of it. So this spring, I put the manure to it heavy because I was planning on putting corn there to plow under. And then I could never get in the ground to plow because all of May was wet. So that might be better down there because it had all that residue left from last year. The weeds had grown up to about like that, to what I plowed under, and then with all the manure, that had a lot more to it. Now this here, I took the hay off, plowed it, and I spread 200 pounds of triple 19 to the acre on this. And then seeded this into it. So this like I said, that's what I've always been told they recommend is 200 pounds of triple 19. So like I said, I mean, you take one cutting off and hit it again. Like I said, I just don't know how heavy. I've never got really. I've only planted this 2 or 3 times. This might be the 4th time I planted it. Like I said, but this is probably about the stage you want to cut it, and then maybe should be planted a little bit heavier. The only thing is, too, it won't. I don't think it will go through the seeder on the grass seeder on the grain drill. So I planted through the regular seed box. I got an International 510 grain drill, and like when I'm planting oats, I'm running up around 18 to 20 on the gauge, the seed setting. For this, I'm running 4 to 6. So I mean, you really have to really cut it down. It's a real fine, small seed. But like I say, just if you need some tonnage to feed faster, it's good feed. But everybody does something different. Like I say, years ago, anybody that planted was just to get the extra feed for the summer, and they green chopped it. So, but I'll just tell a little bit about that. See, right now I'm going to go head this other route. I'm hoping I can get it dry enough to chop tomorrow. I did get all that hay mowed, second crop hay, so I got about 12 acres, maybe 14 acres of second crop on the ground too. I got ted out, so. But I guess I better get at this. Got some other running to do yet today, and I'm running late as it is. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch up with you later.